Welcome back, fight fans. We're back again, and it's a Brazil week. That's right, UFC Sao Paulo. We're back. We had a nice week off. I had a nice week off. I even forgot to watch some things until a little bit later because I was having. Well, I don't even know. I don't even know if I could say I was having such a good time. I was just working really hard. Anyway, so we're back. UFC Brazil or UFC Sao Paulo. I would assume we're still getting the same main event. Derek Lewis, Jailton Almeida, of course. Derek Lewis arrested for I don't even know if I'd call that speeding at that point. I mean, yeah, like 70 miles per hour over, that's something else at that point. So I would assume we're still getting that. A couple of the matchups did switch up, but we have the updated ones, or at least the updated ones as of right now, at least, of course, with Tapology. So we'll get started with that right away. That opens up with first fight of the night. Kauai. I think it's Kauai. Kauai, it's Kaue with an accent. I'm assuming that's Kauai Fernandez and Mark Jacasey. Pretty close one on paper. I'm not going to lie. This one was, well, maybe not so much on paper, but definitely on camera. It looked pretty close. Actually, yeah, even on paper too. I don't know. It's a weird start. I feel weird today for some reason. Also, I mean, the fucking the Wi-Fi cut out literally right before I started. It's been a weird one. It's been a weird start. The last 10 minutes rough. I need to get focused here. Okay, Kauai Fernandez focusing. Last fights, three fights in the LFA in a row. Those were her last three fights. His last three fights. Nothing in the UFC yet, no contender series, nothing like that at all yet. So definitely a big step up in competition. That gets you a little bit worried for sure. Mark Jacasey obviously has all the experience on the other side, but he hasn't really been doing that well. I mean, he lost to Joel Alvarez. Of course, absolute assassin in Alvarez. I mean, the dude's an absolute beast. Michael Johnson lost to him before that, and you know that's kind of a bit iffy. The wins before that, okay, Hadjovic, Vyacheslav Borshev, okay. Lost to Alves before that, so definitely seems to struggle with the grappling a little bit. Well, of course, we saw that Jacasey could grapple pretty well in his last fights too. I don't know. So I don't know. Now I'm just rambling. I don't even know. I really do feel a bit strange today. I don't know what it is. Need to get out of it. Need to get out of my head. What did I decide on? Well, oh yeah, right. Okay. Seemed close enough. I mean, especially with the experience that Jacasey, you kind of give him the benefit of the doubt. So my pick is probably going to end up being Jacasey. For the bets, makes it really difficult, especially if we don't have the odds yet. I'll check, of course, on Betway to see that we do have the odds. But as far as I can tell right now, it is so close that you might as well go with the underdog, Fernandez, on the one side, and then balance it out with possibly even a Jacasey decision on the other side. We'll see what the odds are like here. They're definitely favoring Jacasey at minus 160, so I like definitely the dog, Kauai Fernandez. Oh, we do have some odds. I like to see that. What have we got? Jacasey by decision plus 150. Oh my God, that works out perfectly. So we'll do that. Jacasey decision on one side, and what was I going to say? And Kauai Fernandez, the dog, on the other side. And yes, Wednesday definitely came in fast this week, but I was prepared with my picks this time. And I agree. And I just alluded to that. I'm assuming we're still having Derek Lewis in the main event. I haven't heard otherwise. So I'm assuming that's still happening. I mean, it's a speeding thing. I mean, obviously, way over the limit. That would be, yeah, especially in Canada, you would definitely be in jail for that. I'm assuming, bailed out, and I'm assuming he's already in Brazil, and we're running already in Brazil. I'm assuming that's how it's going. Again, I haven't heard otherwise. I hope that's still the main event. I'm sure it is. But yeah. Oh, he did get out on bail. Okay. That's a good update from R&R there. He did get out on bail. His trial is in December. All right. All right. That is good to know. That's actually very good to know. But yeah, those are the first two bets, the first matchup. I feel pretty good about that. I mean, Jacasey, not necessarily a finisher. And if Jacasey does fuck this up, we're still good betting on the dog there. So I feel pretty good about that one. Next one up was, I believe it's Eduarda Mora. Yes, Eduarda Mora, Montserrat Ruiz, or Conejo Ruiz. Oh my goodness, now fucking up the names here. I mean, Montserrat looks pretty cool. Hasn't really backed up the cool looks in the ring at all. I mean, got a win over Cheyenne Bays, or Vlismus now. Cheyenne Vlismus, kind of iffy. Then got absolutely destroyed by Amanda Lemos in 35 seconds, and then was just completely out grappled in her last fight against Jacqueline Amarim. Just all 3 rounds, and then ended up getting finished in the third. But yeah, really not close, and it was because of that grappling. Eduarda Mora here, very much a grappler. I mean, I watched her last fight. That was, the Contender Series one. I rewatched that, which was actually a couple months ago. And was actually, apparently was scheduled to fight So Kim. I did not know that. I did not know she had a different fight scheduled. And then was, of course, it is now Montserrat Ruiz here. But yeah, horrifying matchup for Ruiz. I don't think this is going to be close. I don't know if she's going to get the finish, though, because we did see Ruiz does have some pretty good submission defense and like defensive grappling. Okay, I mean, she gets controlled, doesn't really have an answer for it, but she doesn't get finished really. So I'm thinking it's going to be a decision, a pretty dominant decision for Mora. I can't really see Ruiz winning. So that makes the betting a little bit more complex, but I'm going to be going with, I believe, well, I'll check the odds here, but the original plan was more a decision and then balance it out with the under. Let's see what the odds have for us here. Interesting. Eduardo Mora, Eduarda. I keep wanting to say Eduardo. Eduarda Mora by KO or sub, that is minus 138. Interesting. So yeah, I'll probably be, taking the over 2.5 and then balancing that out with the Mora finish. That would be the way to play that. Yeah. Oh, but then we've got because then we've got to balance out. Oh, yikes, that's not good. Because then we run into the situation, of course, where we could be right and still lose money. Mora by decision is plus 250. Mora by finish minus 130. That's a tough one. Gotta love being right and still losing. Yeah, that happens a lot. Not as much anymore. Yeah, actually, the worst for me, and this actually does happen quite a bit, is I'm right on Tapology or on Verdict or on even the bets sometimes, and then I'm wrong somewhere else. It's like I would really just rather win everywhere, especially on Tapology, because that might even be where I'm most concerned about losing. And I think it was actually the pay-per-view. I made money, but I did horrible on Tapology. So that kind of hurt. It was like, oh wow, I did really well in the bets. Oh, and then I did horrible on Tapology and I lost most of the games I was in. That really sucks. That's the worst. That is the worst. I think actually Verdict, now that I'm thinking about it, is because I wanted to win that belt so bad in the MMA Hour Verdict League, and I was doing so well, and then I fucked up like 3 weeks in a row. Yeah, I don't think I'm winning that belt anymore. That was brutal. That's brutal. That's the worst feeling. Anyway, man, but I mean, if you go towards the odds, Mora minus 500. You see, that's why we're having problems picking bets here. I mean, she's minus 500, so it's a pretty clear like, okay, she's definitely going to win. But how are we going to take advantage of this betting line? How are we going to attack this? And what do you have? I do terrible on Tapology, but I've made 10% on two by getting lucky and using. Yeah, like the top 10%. Oh yeah. Yeah, and see, that's what I see a lot of people do that, and, I mean, it's easily the best way of winning one of those, is doing exactly what you did, but the problem with doing that is if you're not 100% right on everything that you put the experience on, so if you put, like, your pretty much, like, the 400 experience or 500 experience, if you put that all on one, you gotta be 100% right, and it's gotta be something pretty crazy to get, like, really high experience totals. So, I mean, like, I see people winning, like, okay, like you did, they put everything on that, but then the rest of the weeks, they get 0 experience because then they just get that one thing wrong, or they end up I don't well, they probably wouldn't even get bronze. I mean, you would be getting the participation ribbon every single week. Oh, you got it on Islam KO and Dricus KO? Oh, damn. Yeah, I tend to it was working really well for me for a while because I was getting, like, I mean, for real, I was getting silver medal, gold medal every single week. I would get some kind of medal, which is why I was like, "Oh, I'm definitely gonna be like, if I'm not in the top 10, honestly, in this MMA Hour League, I've royally fucked up." And I did. I definitely did fuck up because it was 3 weeks in a row, I had the participation medal now, or not now, but, like, there was a little bit of a gap there where I had the 2 or 3 in a row where I had the participation, and it's like, I think I fucked myself over. Should have kept going with the same strategy. I mean, I guess I just had a couple of off weeks, but still, yeah, not good. I did turn it around with another. I think I got a gold, but yeah, I don't think I'm coming back from that. I should actually check what place am I in. It's still top 100. Like, I'm still doing pretty well, but not that well. Not as well as I would hope. Oh, that's weird. I can't even look it up now. The fuck? What did they do to this app? Oh, there it is. Okay. They moved everything around. Couldn't tell. Let's see, Verdict League. Now I'm curious because I haven't checked in a while. I'm 71st. So, you know, not great, not horrible. But I mean, somebody's got over 200 LP here. That's tough. They're beating me by a little over 40. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Cause yeah, I mean, like, that would mean that I'd have to get, 2 championship ones, 2 top 10%, and they'd have to do nothing. And that's pretty much what all of them would have to do. Everybody in between. So not looking good for me anymore. Not looking good. I don't pick every week. Oh, you gotta pick. Don't you want the belt? You gotta get the belt from the MMA Hour. I mean, come on. You gotta get the belt. Oh, anyway, so yeah, back to the bets. Trying to dissect this one. This is a bit of a weird one, like I said. Um, do I really want to bet everything on Mora decision minus 130? Because that's what I'd have to do to not have a loss and still be right. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, she has all finishes. except for one. Oof. Ooh, but it was a split decision, and it was somebody with a losing record. Good lord. Man, this is a tough one. Should I come back to this one? Maybe I should. Maybe I should go on to the next one and come back. Angela Hill, Denise Gomes. I actually struggled with this one too. I'm not gonna lie. I really actually a few of these prelims were a lot closer than I think people realize. Oh man, I mean, because you got the experience on the one side with Angela Hill, not the best showings against some of the top people, but I mean, every time she goes against somebody that's not ranked, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive, and she's looked pretty good recently. I don't know, but then on the other side, I mean, what Denise Gomes did to Howard, that was never would have seen that one coming. I mean, that actually, I can't remember if that fucked up my sniper. No, that wasn't a sniper pick, Howard, but it did fuck up my parlays, and I was shocked by that one. The Howard loss a couple of months ago. Couldn't believe that. Finished her in 20 seconds. So I mean, but she doesn't have the experience. On tape, it seemed kind of close. But I think I really did settle on Angela Hill. I think I settled on Angela Hill. I really did. I just haven't really seen enough from Denise Gomes. And to be honest, when I rewatched that Howard one, it kind of reinforced what I thought the first time was Hill is usually at the apex, is she not? Oh yeah, fuck. That's actually not gonna lie. That actually is a good point. That the fact that Hill is in Brazil, I mean, it's like Denise Gomes is at home. She's in Brazil. She's got the crowd. It's definitely very close. And I mean, the odds do reflect that. At least they did last night. Let's see what they are here now. Oh, interesting. Actually, they went in the opposite direction. That's interesting. Hill was actually at minus money last night when I was doing this. Minus 134 for Gomes, plus 105 for Hill. So I think the bet is you got to go with the underdog, whoever that is, and that is Hill in this case. For the one side, I think that's definitely the right call because this is so close. I mean, you could either see Hill come in there and look like, yeah, Hill's still in the top 15 and Denise Gomes doesn't belong there. Could easily see that, especially since Hill doesn't get knocked out. Doesn't happen. So Gomes has only gotten knockouts. If Hill doesn't get knocked out, I don't know. I'm seeing a Hill win, right? So I really could see this going either way. So I think you gotta split this up by going the underdog Hill and then going with Gomes by, let's see here what the odds tell me here. KO or sub for Gomes is plus 210. Decision for Gomes plus 180. I mean, again, I can't really see her finishing. Exactly. Hill is such a wild card. Actually, on Tapology, she is one of those people where I'm like 50-50 on. I've had a couple of good wins with her. I've had a couple of bad losses with her. She really is such a wild card. And that really does, I guess, kind of help us in betting because you just go with whatever's plus money and eventually it should end up in our favor if you go with plus money with her. Statistically speaking. So I'm still going to stand by what I put down here last night, which was Angela Hill, dog, and then Gomes decision. I think that's kind of the way you have to split it here. Because again, I don't really see Gomes finishing Hill here. I don't see it. So moving on. I'll still come back to the Rui, Montserrat, and Mora one. I'm just breaking it up with a couple ones that I'm a little more confident about and that I have at least some kind of an answer for. So next up, it is Vitor Petrino, Modestas Bukauskas. This is actually, speaking of wild cards, really, I mean, Bukauskas is kind of one of those guys as well. But I mean, on paper, and you look at the style, you got to imagine that Petrino's probably going to get a KO. I mean, Bukauskas has been knocked out a couple of times in the first round. Petrino has gotten a couple of really big knockouts, and he has knocked down every person he's ever faced. That includes Turkalj. I mean, Turkalj, he knocked down quite a few times in that decision win. Praknow, he knocked down a bunch of times, ended up getting an arm triangle. And on the Contender Series, he got a knockout. I mean, he definitely does hit hard. Bukauskas on the other side, I mean, he really is kind of like Hill in that way, where it's like you can't really tell who's going to show up. It's either going to be the Bukauskas that gets the shit kicked out of him and he's going to lose easily, or it's going to be the one that kind of gets hit a decent amount, but then he comes back and then he wins after all that hard fought, shit in the first 2 rounds. Then he comes back and wins. I don't know. I don't know if you can come back like that. I don't know if you can come back like that against Petrino, because from what I saw, I mean, normally big guys like that, like Petrino, slow down. He kind of didn't really slow down in the last fight at all, which is pretty impressive. And he won a decision against Turkalj that other time. I don't know. I think he can get it done. I think Petrino should be able to get it done. Also have to remember the fact that he is undefeated as well. So that's usually pretty good. That's usually a pretty good sign. And then in terms of the odds, I mean, he's at minus 200. So it's not crazy for Petrino. So they're thinking Bukauskas has a chance. I feel that, but I don't know. Because if you look back on Tapology, Bukauskas has been knocked out early a couple of times. And that's when Petrino is the strongest. I could very much see that happening. If we go towards the odds, Petrino by decision plus 250. Petrino by KO sub minus 110. So they're definitely leaning towards the finish. That's for sure. The over-under. Oof. They do not have an over-under. Good God. Oh, my God. We're here too early in the week again. Will the fight go the distance, though? That is on the website. Yes is at plus 150. So the over is going to obviously be plus money, I would think. Yeah, so I think you kind of got to balance it out. Petrino finish minus 110. And then on the other side, you got to go the under or over, I guess. Yeah. Which is what I had before last night, but you never know. We'll see. We'll see. That has more to do with the numbers, I guess. But I do like the sound of that so far. Petrino finish over 2.5. The next one is a pretty easy one. That's the easiest one of the night for me. It is my sniper pick. It's Rinat Fakhretdinov and Zaleski. I mean, yeah. I mean, Rinat is an absolute fucking beast. I thought he was just going to run through Kevin Lee with the grappling and the submissions, and then he knocked him out, and then he submitted him. That's 2 finishes in 1 fight. Yeah, he's unreal, and he's going against Zaleski, who, to be honest, didn't really do that well against Abubakar Nurmagomedov. And it's not one of the good Nurmagomedovs, let's be real. It was a split decision. Didn't look good. Got out grappled by quite a bit. And if you're getting out grappled by Abubakar, you're going to get dominated, thrown around. You will not have a single moment in that fight with Rinat if you're not like an insanely good grappler. Because, I mean, Battle didn't get finished when he fought Rinat, but he spent like maybe a minute on his feet. The other 14 minutes were spent on the ground. I would imagine that is exactly what's going to happen here, unless he gets a finish early. I mean, unless Rinat gets a finish early, to be honest, because he could also knock him out. Because Abubakar also has been knocked out a couple of times, not great on the feet. And Rinat actually can throw hands as well. So, yeah, Rinat is my sniper pick. I feel pretty strongly about that. And yeah, seeing a pretty easy win for him there. Early, I'm not sure. Again, as we saw with Battle, you know, lasted 15 minutes, didn't have a single second of success in there, but he lasted 15 minutes. So I could see Zaleski doing the exact same thing. He's not going to win, but he could survive. He could survive. Let's just say that. In terms of the odds, what do we have here? I mean, we're not by decision plus 200. We're not by finish minus 110. To be honest, I might just go we're not finish minus 110 and then call it a matchup, and that's it. I think that's the only bet I'm going to make there, just because he's just so good. He's so good, and Zaleski kind of downhill. I don't know. I just don't think this is really even going to be close. So I'm going all in on the finish minus 110. Yeah, feel good about that. Probably finish. Yeah, I think so. Especially with the knockout. I mean, if he got, by the way, if you go back, like I'll just go through the knockouts here. I mean, he got knocked out by Li Jingliang with 10 seconds left in the fight. That was 4 years ago. He got knocked out by that. I mean, not crazy. Got finished once earlier in his career too. But he is 36. So that's not great. I mean, he's 36. Renat is 32. And Renat has been absolutely destroying people. So, yeah, I think that's exactly how it's going to go. Moving on. We've got Daniel Marcos, Victor Hugo. Yeah, I think this is a pretty easy one to make, at least on paper and kind of from what I saw. I think Daniel Marcos is just the way to go. I mean, people were actually pretty excited to see Victor Hugo on the Contender Series. Apparently, he's a pretty good prospect, but Marcos is undefeated, 15-0. I mean, he's had a fight scheduled here for months. He's known about this fight, and Victor Hugo is just coming in. He just came off the Contender Series. Didn't really have I don't think he got hit that much from what I saw, because I did rewatch it yesterday. It wasn't that crazy of a fight for Victor Hugo, but still, when was that? Like a month ago? Let's go back here. Victor Hugo. Yeah, that was actually exactly a month ago from almost exactly anyway. It was the 3rd of October. He is now fighting on the 4th of November. So it is almost exactly a month. That's rough. That's a quick turnaround. Again, his fight finished in the 2nd round. Wasn't insane, but he did get hit. And like I said, Marcos was planning on fighting on this card already. Yeah, I think Marcos should be able to win this pretty, I wouldn't say easily, but he should be able to win. In terms of the rest of it, the bets here, I would imagine this is going to be a decision. Marcos in a lot of decisions. Hugo, pretty tough guy, pretty good. I'm going. I'll answer that question right after I finish this. But yeah, what was I saying? I can't remember here. Oh yeah, here we go at the bets. Hugo not Hugo. Daniel Marcos by decision. He's at really plus 250 for a decision. That's interesting. I'm taking that all day. Because in the matchup, he's minus 250. So they really think he's going to get a finish. All right. I don't know about that. I'm going for a decision here. I don't know. Because let's see, Hugo, I mean, he's only been finished once in his career? Twice. One of them was a rib injury. I don't know. Seems like he's pretty good and pretty tough. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to last the whole time. I don't know. So I might be taking the Daniel Marcos decision. As to answer your question here, what's your process for doing research when you rewatch the fights? Are you just reminding yourself, or are you looking for something specific? Both, all three, actually. Well, I'm going to say a third thing, but yeah, Because I've been watching it for so long now, it's a lot of reminding myself, like, okay, like this is how good this person is everywhere. Like striking, grappling. That's usually what I'm looking for. Looking for something specific definitely depends on the matchup for sure. Like, I mean, I'm not going into it like as a coach. Like, I'm not looking for specific openings. Like, oh, he drops his hand here, that'll open. For the left hook, he gets slapped in the face like that. Like, no, I'm not looking for that specific. But it's more so like the Marcos one here. Like, he didn't finish Davy Grant. He didn't really look like he was ever going to get a finish at any point. He's pretty solid with his striking. I mean, he did pretty well against Davy Grant. Victor Hugo, I mean, I saw him get hit quite a bit. So if you're getting hit quite a bit, like, you kind of I look at that. Like, how much is this guy getting hit by somebody that's not even as good as the person he's going against? That's usually a pretty good indication. Same with the grappling. How is the other person's grappling? How is his grappling defense holding up? A bunch of those things, really. Again, it really more so depends on the style matchup. Like, well, especially with Renat, like with that one. Like, how good is Zaleski's takedown defense? Like, is he good at defending takedowns? Because he sure as shit better be, or else he's going to lose this pretty easily. And same thing with Renat on the flip side of that. If he can't get a takedown, can he actually go on the feet with Zaleski? In this case, yes, he could pretty easily because he knocked out Kevin Lee like that. Same thing, but yeah, basic stuff. Exactly. Yeah. Punch power, takedown defense, how bad the chin is makes sense. Yes. Exactly like that. Yeah, style, step up or down. You'd be surprised really how much you could learn just by looking at the Tapology pages. Cause like there was a while there, quite a while actually, where I had better results not doing any video research. I was actually seemingly fucking myself up by watching tape because then I would be like, oh, this person can do this person can do that. And then I was picking the underdog too often and then I was losing more. Then what I noticed is when I went back to not watching tape at all, I did actually get a little bit better at my picks. I mean, like, you can learn a lot just by looking at Tapology for sure. But now I'm kind of at the point where it seems like I do best when it's just a little bit of research. Because if I get too much into it, then I feel like I start making mistakes. Like, oh, I think he can do that, and then it never actually ends up happening. So like somebody will get a knockout and it's like, oh, he's gonna get a knockout here, and then boom, he gets the knockdown and he doesn't get the finish. So usually I'm close. Like, oh, I was right. He did actually land that. He did actually get close to getting the submission, but then he doesn't actually get it. So then I still lose the bet, even though I was right that he was better in that area. Doesn't get the finish, so it doesn't count. Yeah, weird that Tapology seems to be still the best tool. I still stand by that. It is still the best tool, Tapology, which is why I'm looking at it right now too. I didn't used to do that, but ever since I started doing these betting ones, I look at Tapology during the show. I don't know why. I don't know. Now I'm starting to ramble again. All right. Back to what we were talking about. Now I forgot. Oh yeah, Victor Hugo, Daniel Marcos, I believe is what we were talking about. Yeah, I think I'm going for it's so hard to tell with the over under not being here. Cuz I really want to do like Marcos finish because it's at plus money and then balance it out with the over 2.5. But I don't know if that's going to be, I'll pencil that in. I'll pencil that in because it seems like that's what. Yeah. I'll pencil it in. Marcos finish over 2.5. I'll pencil that in for now. we'll see what the numbers end up like. And the next one is another easy one. I've learned that sometimes being, and hey, you know, that's why, and I mean, people probably won't even believe me when I say that, but like my picks on Tapology have gone way downhill. When I started, so when I was at your point, let's say, like just starting to get into the whole Tapology thing and watching like all the fights on the card as opposed to like the ones that are just on TV or the ones that are like on the main card or whatever. I was better at picking back then. Like my pick percentage on Tapology was in the high 70s and then like 80s usually. Like I was regularly getting 80% or more, or even just like between 70 and 80. That's what I was regularly getting every single time. Now I'm actually lower. Mine, I would say now it's about, well, I mean, if you go on Tapology, it says 68. My percentage was lowered because I went like months in a row where I was doing every single event and I was paying less attention probably, so I got them wrong a little bit more. Now it's about like 65 to 75. So it's actually lower than I was before. So you are definitely right. I mean, I wouldn't call you an ignorant casual, but you know, if I really do think that for some reason when you're just starting to watch it, I actually do think that's the best. That is the best to pick to make your picks. So theoretically, you should be better than me right now. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know. I mean, our weekly battles. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's true yet. Anyway, the next one is a pretty easy one. This was actually a late change. It was Elvis Brenner and Rebovich originally. Rebovich did drop out. Now it is Krzyzewski. This is not even close. This is going to be an absolute massacre. Brenner by KO. I mean, if you don't remember who Elvis Brenner is, he was the guy that upset Guram Kutateladze a couple months ago. Guram being a minus, what was it, minus 650 favorite or some shit. And Guram did kind of beat him up for like the first and second rounds for the most part. I mean, Elvis had some pretty good moments in there. And then out of nowhere, Elvis lands this insane left hook in the third round to then knock out Guram Kutateladze, destroyed all of my parlays. I'm sure he was the sniper pick at that point before I even called it the sniper pick. Yeah, brutal. That was insane. Yeah, so I mean, if he can do that to Guram, I mean, come on. Like Krzyzewski was getting pieced up a couple of times in his contender series fight, and his contender series fight was, again, I think it was actually less than a month ago. So yeah, I mean, Brenner KO, that's where I'm going with it. And I'm also going to take the round one. I don't even really care what the odds are. That's probably what I'm going to be doing. I'll just check out the odds just in case they have this up here. Oh, they don't. Oh, that's right, because it's a brand new matchup. They don't even have it on the website at all. Of course. But yeah, of course. Of course, Brenner for sure. And I know those odds are going to be just astronomical. I'm sure it's going to be like minus 600 at, well, maybe minus 400 because people don't necessarily know how good Brenner is. I guess I don't really know. I don't know. Some of these betting lines sometimes they really don't make a lot of sense, but I would imagine even so, that's still going to be high. Brenner is still going to be high up there. He's definitely going to be in my parlays though. Where are we here? But yeah, Brenner KO round one. That's what I'm going with. Next up, the first ball theme of the night against Vince Pichel. I mean, we saw, I don't know if I'd really call it Bonfim getting exposed against Benoit Saint Denis. I don't know if he wasn't necessarily taking that as seriously. I don't know what happened, to be honest, in that matchup. Oh, wow. Okay. Did I skip some here? No, I didn't. Never mind. I was looking at Tapology. I freaked myself out. Ismael Bonfim, that is the first one I'm talking about, did get finished in the first round by Benoit Saint Denis. Again, I really don't know what happened in that one. I still don't know. Like, Was it because I think they were in Paris for that one? I don't know. I don't know if it was the Paris magic. I don't know if he wasn't taking the fight seriously. I don't know if he was too aggressive against Benoit Saint Denis. I don't really know what happened in that fight. But other than that fight, he has looked insanely good, insanely crisp. And we saw that against Terrence McKinney. That was the best example of that. I mean, it was fairly close. And then, of course, flying knee knocked McKinney out cold. Insane. Absolutely insane. Pichel on the other side, I mean, he's 40 years old. He's a pretty tough dude. Definitely very tough. But, I mean, he's been finished before by guys who aren't quite as good. Didn't have a great fight against Mark Madsen in the last one. You know, I mean, this is kind of one of those, this is going to be one of those kind of sad ones where you see the older guy get just obliterated. I think that's going to be one of those. So probably first round finish, I'm assuming, for Bonfim. I mean, he could definitely last longer because Pichel, as I said, is very tough. So if there's I'm assuming the over is probably going to be plus money. I'll probably take over 1.5 or whatever is plus money. Oh my God, we do have an over under for this one. I just got excited here. Over 2.5. Oof. I don't know if I go with 2.5 over 2.5, but over 2.5 is plus 100. I might be going under 1.5 to be honest, because that's plus 140. I like that a lot more. Especially with Bonfim, you know, again, in Brazil, Pichel is 40, gonna want to prove a point, gonna want to put on a show, especially he's fighting before his brother. He wants to make a statement. Yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing the under 1.5. I like that, at least that it's plus 140. I'm comfortable taking that risk under 1.5. And I mean, he's at minus 450. So how are we gonna lower those odds? Man. I mean, the under 1.5, definitely doing that. Bonfim, let's see. Bonfim submission 375. Bonfim TKO plus 162. Man, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see. Show me the odds here. Bonfim by finish in general is minus 120. I like that. Minus 120 Bonfim for finish. Bonfim finish. And then under 1.5. I like that. I'm liking that. We'll go with that. What do you think of that one? After that one, though, it is, I believe, then we are starting the main card. Oh, that was the first on the main card. Second on the main card, Rodolfo Vieira, Armen Petrosyan. I did struggle a little bit with this one too, actually. This was another one where I've gotten both of these guys wrong quite a bit. This is another one of those ones, kind of like Angela Hill, where they're both fairly kind of wild cards, really. Petrosyan, very much hit and miss. Vieira has got to be one of the least consistent people I've ever seen. I mean, he got submitted. He's a jiu-jitsu world champion, and he got submitted by Anthony Hernandez. Then he wins against Dustin Stoltzfus. I mean, Stoltzfus not great. Then he loses against Chris Curtis, and then he just kind of obliterates Cody Brundage and with the arm triangle. But again, it's Cody Brundage. So it's like, I don't even know what to think. I really don't know what to think about Rodolfo Vieira and Petrosyan. I mean, he's not a grappler. He really has not looked like he can grapple at all. But the striking is pretty unbelievable. So this is essentially a pure striker versus pure grappler matchup. Because really neither one of these guys has anything on the other side of the coin here. From what I saw, I think it's a lot easier to learn how to defend takedowns than it is to learn how to strike properly. So I would imagine that Petrosyan's going to win this probably by decision. That's how I'm seeing it. He could actually get a knockout, but I think he's gotten all decisions in the he has all decisions in the UFC so far. And yes, I do agree. Yes, safer to go for finish rather than specific, especially with Bonfim. And that actually right there is a good point to what your other question was, which is what I do for research. That actually is a huge part of the research for the tape, especially. That's more so what I'm looking for. Because win loss, I can actually usually tell the win loss thing on paper I mean, more often than not. But it's actually the kind of finish more so that I'm looking for because that's where it's like, where is the gap here? If there's a huge gap in the striking, then you can go with KO. If there's a huge gap in the grappling or submission defense, I should say specifically, then go with submissions. And with Bonfim, where he could do either, he's capable of getting a knockout or a sub. This is more of a time where I would go for finish rather than KO or sub because he is capable of both. So that I guess would more so answer your question from before, which is that's I guess more so what I'm looking for in the research. Especially when I'm doing these prop bets for sure. Oh well, not even the prop bets, but actually on Tapology trying to get, KO versus sub versus decision and all that too. That would be where that also comes in handy. And rounds as well. Like, is he tough enough to go to a second or third round, or is he going to get blown out in the first? Yeah. But yeah, I think Petrosian should be able to get it done. I think Vieira's a bit too one dimensional. Um, so yeah, I think Petrosian can get it done. The odds, I believe, are very close. They were last night, I think. Let's see what we got. -110, -110. I mean, you could not get any closer. So you got to go Petrosian. I mean, they're both kind of one dimensional, but again, you got to imagine it's easier to learn how to do takedown defense for Petrosian than it is for Vieira to learn how to properly strike against somebody that good. So I'm going decision. I don't think, I mean, Vieira's pretty tough. So I don't think he's going to get finished. I'm going Petrosian decision on this one. But yeah, for the bets, -110, Petrosian. Got to go with that. The over under. Ooh, I love that. The over is plus money. Oh, yeah, plus 130. I'm writing that down right now. Over 2.5. That's what we're doing. Over 2.5 and Petrosian. Beautiful. Love it. Love it. We're moving on because that could not get any better. Bohalio, Magomedov. Am I the only one that thinks this is bizarre that this isn't the co-main event? Why is this not the co-main event? Caio Borralho has been in a bunch of co-mains already as it is, and Magomedov just headlined against Sean Strickland, and now we've got Bonfim and Dalby in the co-main, and then before that even, you got Nascimento and Mays, who, by the way, why is Nascimento and Mays even on the main card? I mean, that was weird. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. They designed this card fairly weirdly, and especially in terms of the main card. That was a weird one. I think co-main should easily be Bohalio and Magomedov. That's a bit of a weird one. I don't know why they did that. But in terms of the matchup itself, I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't go with Bohalio on this. I mean, I think he's actually been going against tougher guys than Abus. I haven't been impressed at all by what I've seen. I even said that before the Sean Strickland fight. That's why I picked Sean Strickland, because I wasn't impressed at all. And is it because Brazil? Of course, for sure, it's because of Brazil, and Bonfim, is exciting and they want to build Bonfim. But Kyle Bohalio is Brazilian. So it seems like a pretty obvious co-main event to me. And Gabriel Bonfim has only had 2 fights in the UFC. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. They were pretty fucking insane finishes. They were both first round submissions that looked like he was going to rip the other guy's head off. So I understand that part of it. But again, it's like Dalby, like you got Dalby in the co-main event when you could have Kyle Bohalio and Abus Magomedov. I don't know. At least put them above Rodrigo Nascimento and Dontal Mays. Who gives a shit about that fight at all? Like, seriously, who gives a fuck about Nascimento and Mays? Good Lord. Take that off the main card. Especially with, I mean, like, I could have even seen, like, oh, maybe not, actually. That's a bit too far. I could have seen maybe Vitor Petrino and them being on the main card. Maybe even Angela Hill, Denise Gomes. I could have seen that on the main card even. But yeah, Dontal Mays, Rodrigo Nascimento. Garbage fight. Terrible. But yeah, anyway, back to Caio Borralho here. I mean, he is an absolute animal. Abus hasn't shown any promise at all. I mean, I was impressed a little bit by the kicks. The kicks were pretty good, but nothing else at all. Like, literally at all. I wasn't really impressed by anything. Tried to grapple Sean Strickland a little bit, didn't really have much success. So if you're not having success there, I mean, Hill fight is the people's main event. Yes, of course. Very much so. But yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty understood at this point that Sean Strickland is definitely underrated when it comes to the grappling, but still, it's like, you got knocked out by Sean Strickland. He also out grappled you. Didn't see anything at all. Got knocked out in the first round in PFL. What are we doing here? And Caio, on the other hand, had finished Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, has looked unreal in the three decisions before that, which was against Omar Gadzhiev, Armen Petrosyan, and Mahmoud Muradov. And to be honest, I think probably all three of those are better than Magomedov. So I don't think this is going to last the entire 3 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I don't think it will. I just don't think Borralho is tough. I don't think Abus is tough enough to deal with somebody like Caio for all 3 rounds. So I'm seeing a finish. Yeah, definitely a win for sure. I would be shocked. I would truly be blown away if Abus somehow pulled that off. I really don't think that's happening at all. And in terms of the odds, I mean, minus 250 for Caio. We got to get creative again. There's a lot of really one-sided ones on this card. I was actually thinking of possibly doing one of those special parlays we were talking about, like a Brazilian bank buster. That's kind of what I was going to call it, possibly. So if you want to do that, I'm down. I'll probably give you like 6 or 7 Brazilian names that I want to tie together and see what happens. Up to you. I mean, you're the one making them. I'm fine either way. The over under in this fight. The over is at plus money, plus 100, over 2.5. I'll take that because, I mean, Borralho has been in 3 decisions in a row before that Oleksiejczuk one. So I could see that. I'll take the over 2.5. I'll write that down for myself right here. And then I would assume Borralho finish would be the other one. What's Borralho finish here? Borralho, KO, plus 115. Beautiful. Both at plus money. We love when that happens. We absolutely love when that happens. Both at plus money. Borralho finish and over 2.5. I like that because there is no way that Abus is going to be finishing Borralho. He could get a decision win, maybe. I would be shocked still, but not finishing. So as long as it gets over 2.5 plus money, Borralho finish plus money, love it. Yes. Okay. Fair enough. I will look at that tonight, see what I come up with, and yeah, I will give that to you. And then, of course, I'll also give you the picks and the triple play and Grand Slam, of course. Like I said, though, I was actually slightly ahead of the game this time. I think because the picks were kind of pretty easy last night. Because let's be real. I mean, these odds are not even close for most of these. So yeah, I think the picks were a little bit easier this week. That could be why. Yeah, Kyle Bohalio. You know what? Let's go back now to Montserrat Ruiz and Eduarda. I keep wanting to say Eduardo. Eduarda is such a weird name. It's like you expected that you were going to have a son and then pivoted and said, "Oh, take the O out of there. We'll put the A in." Eduarda. You know, that's the feeling I get. Or maybe the dad's name is Eduardo. Hate when people do that. That's so embarrassing. I would never name my kid whatever, like after me. That's just so weird. Like a junior or junior and senior. I hate that shit. I couldn't imagine. I would never want to do that to my kid. Anyway, I would imagine that's what happened here because Eduarda just seems like a strange name. weird segue into the fight here, but that's what I went with. Excuse me. Man, I mean, I keep seeing all these finishes, a lot of first round submissions for Mora. I know Ruiz has good submission defense. She even had good defense against Marim, but man, that's tough. Fuck. Man, I'm still struggling with this. This is just such a weird one. I think it's also because there's no over-under on it yet. You know what? I think that's it. You got to go with over 2.5 on the one side and then balance it out with Mora finish. Or maybe even Mora sub. Because I don't even think she's ever had a knockout before. I can't imagine keeping the tradition and having Arnar the fifth or whatever. Yeah. And that's the thing is what do you expect out of that? Like for real, like do you expect like now there's a senior and a junior, like do you expect them to keep going? And then it's like what show was that too where it was like junior, senior, or like senior, junior? What was that again? Was that in Kim Possible? What show was that? It was a Disney show. And there was like something senior, junior, junior, senior, something like that. Was it Kim Possible? I want to say it was Kim Possible. But like, do you expect it to go that far where where it's like, who's senior? Is it like, who is senior now? If there's a third one, or I guess you just go into the third, the fourth, or do you go junior, senior, and senior, senior? Like, it's just so stupid. Yeah, I guess it sounds like royalty. Yeah, but I mean, the people who normally do that, well, like actually, I guess usually junior, senior, though, those people, they're like the furthest people from royalty you can get. That's like, that's like, I don't want to say trailer trash, but it's definitely not usually rich people that do that. I will say though, yeah, rich people usually do like, yeah, the fourth or the fifth. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's a rich white person thing for sure. I think it was Kim Possible, right? I knew it. But anyway, does Mora have any knockouts at all? Let's see. She has 2 ground and pound. Oh, 3. Probably all by ground and pound. I could see that. So let's see. What is finish again? Minus 138. Fuck. Man, that matchup is really throwing me for a loop, I gotta say. I'm not usually thrown off by things like that, but the numbers are not cooperating. The numbers are not numbering for me over here. I think you got to pick a lane. I think you got to go with over, and then you got to pick either sub or KO and just commit. She's never been subbed. So I think I gotta go with KO because she's been knocked out twice, never been subbed. Ground and pound. I think I got to go for it. I think I got to go for KO. That's decided then. It is decided. Moving on. Now we're going to be going to the fight that doesn't belong on the main card. Nascimento and Mays. I mean, I don't even think this is close. Mays just is absolutely brutal. He is just not good. Not good at all. Has not really shown any promise whatsoever. Was honestly shocked that Andrei Arlovsky lost because Andrei Arlovsky almost knocked out Don'Tale Mayes in the first round. So I was actually pretty blown away by the fact that he somehow managed to blow that fight in the end. I even picked Andrei Arlovsky for that fight because I knew how bad Mayes was. And on the other side, Nascimento, I mean, he got popped for steroids on there on one of them. That was a win that he got taken away, turned into a no contest. Other than that, I mean, split decision win against Bozer, split decision win against Latifi. Looked decent in those fights. Like, I don't think he's anything crazy either, but he is definitely better than Don'Tale Mayes. I really am pretty confident that Nascimento is going to win that. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get a finish out of it too. Oh, oh my God. I didn't even know that. Did you know this was a rematch? I didn't know this was a rematch. He already fought him before. What the fuck? I didn't even know that. I just noticed that now. Man, why are we doing that? Why? The rematch that everybody wanted to see, Nascimento and Don'Tale Mayes. Wow. What the fuck? I actually had no idea this was a rematch. And Nascimento submitted him in the second round last time. Well, I'm definitely picking Nascimento now. That is weird. That's very strange. What do you got here? Oh, excuse me. I really always forget to press the button. It would be interesting to do a competition where a person who does research on exact fight technique goes against a person who mainly looks at fighter mentality and psychologically. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'd be more than willing to to do some experiments here and there with other people or just by myself. I'm more than willing to do stuff like that and show that. Um, because I mean, I've done a bunch of experiments myself too. I mean, clearly, because I've tried everything. I really have tried pretty much everything. I really should have maybe documented that, put that on YouTube, just be like, hey, listen, like this is, there's different ways of doing research here. Some of them are better than others. Yeah, I that could be interesting. But yeah, it is really weird. Why is this fight even happening again? Very strange. I should go back and watch that actually to see what happened. It was in 2020, so I think they've probably both uh gotten a little bit better since then, but still. Yeah. I still stand by the fact that I don't think Don'Tale Mayes has much of a chance. I think that even goes to prove that even further that he was finished before. It wasn't even a close one. At least I don't think it was close. Again, I'd have to watch it to tell you, but it doesn't seem like it. So yeah, Nascimento finish. Let's see what the odds have for us. Bizarre, minus 188 for Nascimento. Maybe they didn't even notice that this was a rematch as well. Because I usually rematches, that person is heavily favored, especially when they get a finish. So minus 188 seems pretty fucking low. Trilogy for UFC 300. Oh man. The only way that would happen, and I don't want to jinx it, is if there was like an eye poke or something and it ended up being a no contest. Could you imagine? Oh man. I mean, the over 2.5 is plus 100. The under 1.5 is plus 150. I mean, you got to go with under 1.5. The other one was under 1.5, was it not? Let's see. It might have just missed it by 30 seconds. No, it was. It was under 1.5 the first time. Come on. That's just a layup. I mean, you gotta take that. That's psychotic. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? That is actually crazy to put that betting line up there. Under 1.5 is plus 150. And he got finished in under 1.5 the first time. Oh, you can. You can bet no contest. Oh, and no contest? I don't know, actually. You can bet draw. Maybe you can't bet a no contest. Hmm. You can definitely bet a draw, though. I'm not sure. I might have seen no contest one time. I think for the main events, usually that's a prop bet. I think that actually is a prop bet sometimes, betting a no contest. Let's see, because it could actually be set up here for it. Let's see if they have it. They got the draw. Got the technical draw, scorecard. Will the fight go the distance? They don't have it on this one. But when they get super specific with like like the Volkanovski and draw is fine, but people would be trying to hurt them from the crowd. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that is a good point. But I mean, you also have to realize too, like that is kind of what does happen a little bit in the regional ones. Not with the audience doing things, but you kind of suspect it sometimes a little bit from the refs, a little bit from the judges, where it's like, oh, they kind of called that fight a little bit quick. I don't know about that. You see some things like that every once in a while on the regional ones, not in the UFC though. But yeah, no contest for sure. What was I gonna say? Yeah, oh yeah, the Volk Islam one though, like, and other fights like that of pay-per-view quality, let's say, they get very specific. Like you can bet like KO by knee, KO by kicks, KO by elbow. Like you can get so specific in there. And I'm pretty sure I've seen it where I saw the no contest. I think. I saw it. I think. We'll see. How about that? Next time I see it, if I see it, I'll definitely let you know. Because that is a solid point. You can really fuck up. Like, a no contest is pretty easy to achieve from the outside. I mean, you'd be thrown in jail for sure, but still. What have we got here? Where was I at? Oh yeah, Don'Tale Mays. Yeah. So Nascimento for sure. Nascimento finish. Is that what I said? Yeah. Right? Yeah, Nascimento finish and under 1.5. Yes. Back on track and back onto the next one, which is the other Bonfim brother, the one who is practically guaranteed to win. Let's be real. I mean, this guy's an absolute fucking animal. Jail but rich. Well, I'm not sure because if they do find out that it was due to bet fixing, they can then take your money away because it's the profit of a crime. So depends what kind of evidence you leave behind, and that's the same thing as any crime, as I learned in my many classes in criminology. It's more so about what you leave behind than what you do. Excuse me. Moving on. Gabriel Bonfim, Nicholas Dalby. I mean, first round. Definitely first round. That is one of the bets. What have we got here? Under 1.5 is minus money, so that can tell you right away how not close this is. So classes, yes. I learned from somewhere, possibly from the streets. What was I gonna say? I'm losing energy now. I didn't eat much today. Not smart. Not smart. When I already always have problems, not eating much is not smart. Nicholas Dalby, I mean, he would if you look at his record, you would see that there are no losses. There are no losses by finish for Nicholas Dalby. But if you actually do a little bit of digging into the no contest, he was submitted in the no contest. He was submitted by Ross Houston in Cage Warriors. So he has been submitted before. And I think if you've been submitted at any point in your career, that's not a good sign when you're going against Gabriel Bonfim, who seems to pull first round submissions out of nowhere, because both of the times that he got his submissions, I was like, oh, okay, that's not a great spot to be in. Like, oh, okay, he's probably just going to roll out of it and stand back up or whatever. And both times out of nowhere, he looked like he was going to rip the other guy's head off. So I would imagine he's going to do probably something pretty similar today. I mean, not today, this weekend, and get a submission that way. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. Darce choke, first round. Von Flue choke, first round. Mounted guillotine choke, first round. 49 seconds, by the way. Last fight, guillotine choke, first round, minute in. I mean, this guy, he really is unbelievable. And I mean, outside of the UFC, arm triangle, first round, guillotine, first round, rear naked, first round, triangle choke, second round. I mean, this guy's crazy. He is so good. So I gotta go first round sub. Not too hard to pick. First round sub. And in terms of the bets, I mean, yeah, sub, Bonfim, that's probably, good lord, is that probably, the odds of that are probably just out of control already. Let's see what they are. Bonfim, you have got to be kidding me. I'm writing that down right now. Gabriel Bonfim by submission, plus 125. Lock that shit in. That's actually crazy. Bonfim by sub. And you heard how many first round subs I just went through. That was like eight. I think 8. I don't know how many I said. But yeah. Thank you. Definitely taking that. Plus 125. That's psychotic that they would give that away. Okay. And then we go for round 1 when the oh, actually I do have it here. Gabriel Bonfim, round 1, plus 120. Beautiful. Locking that in as well. Bonfim in 1. Typing it in. It is now locked in. That's crazy that those are that's unreal. I mean, one of those has got to cash in. Bonfim by sub or round 1. I mean, come on now. It is crazy. I mean, seriously, like some of these lines are like, seriously, that's what you put that at? Which is why, again, it just bugs me so much that it seems like week after week I'm so close to making profit or like not making profit. And it's like, bruh, these betting lines are brutal sometimes. It's just that I'm getting hit on the other betting lines that I thought are juicy, like obvious. I'm losing those ones, but I'm cashing in all these ones that they fucked up on. Oh man, I don't know. I just feel weird today. My head's just spaced out. But we're almost done. Gelton Almeida, future double champ, Gelton Almeida. Well, actually, we'll see what happens with Aspinall and Sergey, because if they look like I think they could look in that fight, which is actually next week. Holy shit, is that next week already? My God. Gelton might have some competition there. But other than that, I mean, there's nobody stopping him from being a double champ. He's so good. By the way, I said that when he was on the Contender Series. I was like, yeah, this guy's pretty fucking good. Like, that is ranked light heavyweight right now off the Contender Series. Put this guy in the top 15. And then I think it was like I think maybe the first fight in, or maybe the second fight, I was like, okay, double champ. I'm calling it now. He's just way too good. So, I mean, you can obviously tell what, what I'm going to put there. Gelton Almeida, first round sub. I have put in Gelton Almeida, first round sub. Let's see here. I want to see on Tapology how many times I have actually put that pick in and cashed it in. Oh my God. It was 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times I have picked him. Obviously, I won each time, obviously. Actually, he did get a KO in a couple of them. I called it right one time. Okay. So I'll show you right here. Actually, I don't know if you can see. Nah, you can't see. You can't see. But Danilo Marquez, I picked Almeida, first round KO. I picked first round sub. He got first round KO. Close. Next one. Oh, I went second round. Good Lord. I went second round sub in the next one. He got the first round sub. So I half cashed that in. Then I got the first round sub Turkali. Then I put first round KO. It was second round KO. Fuck. And then he got the first round sub against Rosenstrike. I'm going first round sub again. I mean, I don't even know how you couldn't take first round sub in this. I mean, this is ridiculous. Lewis literally just got submitted in the first round against Sergey Spivak. And you're putting him in there against Jailton Almeida, who is probably 2, 3, 4, 5 times as good. I mean, numbers are just arbitrary at that point. He is so much better than Sergey Spivak, especially on the ground. And you're putting him against Derek Lewis, who was just submitted in the first round. I mean, good Lord, that is criminal. Which is funny now because, Lewis getting arrested. I mean, this is insane. So yeah, first round sub, Jailton Almeida, nothing else. Can't see anything else happening here. I honestly can't even see ground and pound. I think he's just going to go run in there. Gotta watch the knee. Yes, of course. He does have to watch out for the flying knee, of course. I mean, I'm sure it'll be touch and go. But after he dodges that, yeah. Oh my God. The betting line for under 1.5 minus 334. Good Lord. They have absolutely no faith in Derek Lewis whatsoever. minus 110 for Jailton Almeida first round. Thank you very much. I'm typing that in. Minus 110 Jailton Almeida first round. And then Almeida sub. What do we got here? Ooh, not bad. Not bad. Minus 134. I mean, they're both minus money. Almeida and 1, Almeida sub. They're both minus money, but I mean, I don't know how you don't take that. I really don't know how you don't take that. When when Lewis was just submitted by Sergey Spivak, and now he's going against Jailton Almeida, I don't know how you don't take Almeida in 1 and Almeida sub. I think you gotta. I don't think there's any choice. I think you have to do that. And that brings us to the end of the card, but I will go over the parlays pretty quick because I think I've kind of decided on what I'm going to do there. I keep doing it right into the fucking microphone too. My bad. I'm so bad at that. I think it's because I'm holding it up. So I'd have to have my thumb on it the whole time if I was going to do that. Like that, You're going to put Oh, that's a good way to throw away your week. Putting Lewis round 1 KO. Nah, bruh. Nah, not even on this one. I think, honestly, I'll tell you the strategy here for Verdict. I mean, I'm not going to give away too much, but it's like Bonfim is probably where the money is, honestly, because I know exactly what Verdict is going to do. I could even check on it right now. Usually one of them is juiced out of control, like either KO or sub here. So let's go with Bonfim here. What does it say? Bonfim 1.119 on the modifier, obviously. Oh yeah, right here. This is what I'm saying right here. Knockout times 7. And the sub is 1.89. So even if Bonfim got a first round sub, there's no points there no matter how many you put down. So the obvious way to get points is you put down Gabriel Bonfim by sub. It's a 7 times multiplier. 7 times. So even on the off chance that he could do that, I mean, you just go for it anyway. I mean, he's probably not going to get a KO, but times 7. Let's see what the main event is. I'm actually going to check that. Now that you're talking about it, I'll see what the... No. That's crazy. Gelton Almeida 1.57. Derek Lewis 2.74. So they actually, I mean, compared to the one I just said, they had Dalby at times 6. They have Lewis at times 2.74. That's crazy. Some of the numbers they have on this are out of control. But even then, Almeida knockout times 6. So I would even say if you're going to do something, do like Almeida by knockout, because that's, again, like times 6. That is 3 times the multiplier of the submission. That's how you get the points, by picking things like that. Picking things that are still somewhat reasonable, but very much plus money. Plus experience, I should say, on this one. But yeah, actually, the Bonfim one is the perfect example of that. It really is. Because, I mean, you're never going to get any points by betting, by putting down first round sub for Bonfim. That would get you like 300 experience. But yeah, 6 times. 6 times is great. Yes, I agree. But yes, parlays. The A pick, I said the sniper pick already. It's got to be Renat. He's the only person on this card. I mean, do I think Almeida's going to lose? No. Do I think either of the Bonfim guys are going to lose? No. Do I think Brenner is going to lose? No. Do I think Mora is going to lose? No. But Renat is the only one where it's like, that would be so beyond comprehension for him to lose, that it would just wouldn't make any sense for Renat to lose. So that's why he is my A pick. He is the sniper pick for sure. And what is he at now? I want to see the odds now. Let's see. Where is he? I'm losing him. Renat, minus 334. Good Lord. Those are fantastic odds for a sniper pick. I already know exactly what I'm going to do. And that is 7 units at minus 334. Lock that in now. You can start making that graphic now. Renat Fakhretdinov, 7 units, minus 334. That's the sniper pick. And then, B, I put Brenner. I think that Krzyzewski, come on. Krzyzewski on late notice. Brenner knocked out Guram Kutateladze. It wouldn't make sense. Would not make sense for Brenner to lose. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. That wouldn't make sense. So B. C is, man, do I go with Gabriel Bonfim or Gelton Almeida for C? That's the real question. Because, this is where the problems come in, because I don't think that any of them are going to lose, but this is where you need to think like I was thinking before. You need to find that one thing, like, what can this underdog do? How is this person going to get it done? And who's more likely to get it done then at that point? Like, what's more likely to happen? Dalby beating Bonfim somehow, or Derek Lewis knocking out Almeida? That's essentially what I have to figure out. I think you got to go Bonfim for C. Gabriel Bonfim, that is. Because I just don't think Dalby has anything for him. Whereas at least I think the other Bonfim, I mean, he might have gotten exposed by Benoit Saint Denis there. I mean, Pichel isn't great either, but if I had to rank them, let's say, I think that's where I'm at. So I think C should be Gabriel Bonfim. D should be Almeida. I think that's where I'm going to go with it. Never thought I'd be putting Almeida at D, but that's just how confident I am in everybody else. Excuse me. And that would mean Mora should be F. And other Bonfim, tiny Bonfim should be E, I think. Let's see. Ooh, Bohalio. Bohalio's in there too. Nascimento. No, I wouldn't pick Nascimento. Bohalio's a good option, though. Bohalio is a good option. Bohalio or Mora? Bohalio or Mora? Even Petrosian. No, Petrosian, I can't do that. Yeah, I think that's it. Bohalio or Mora? Bohalio or Mora? That's what I'm down to. Those are the last two people I'm not sure about. Who should be the last slot, essentially? Bohalio or Mora? Probably Bohalio, right? Because women are fairly inconsistent and unreliable in the bets usually, especially when they're kind of newer. But we haven't seen much of a boost though either. Because a boost is kind of one of those wild cards too, because we haven't actually seen a lot of him if you think about it. He only had what, one fight in the UFC, two before Strickland. They were one of them, two of them were pretty quick too. I mean, the Strickland one was quick. The other one was quick. It's kind of tough to say, but Bohalio is pretty rock solid. But yeah, you agree? Okay. I think so. I think Bohalio should be F. I think they're probably both going to win pretty easily, but okay. I'll go with you on this one. Kyle Bohalio, F. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that brings us to a final setup of A, Renat Fakhretdinov, B, Elvis Brenner, C, Gabriel Bonfim, D, Gilton Almeida, E, Little Bonfim, Ismail Bonfim, and F, Kyle Bohalio. I like it. I think that's a pretty solid setup. And then that would mean, right, with our new and improved betting or parlay system, I should say, that would be BCD is the, oh, what the fuck? Oh, never mind. I thought I typed something out really weird. Also, my computer is probably going to die. It's at 4%. BCD. Yeah. So BCD, that would be Brenner, Gabriel Bonfim, Gilton Almeida. That's the triple play. Looks pretty solid. I like that. I like the sound of that. And then ABDE is the Grand Slam, and that is Renat, Brenner, Almeida, other Bonfim. I like it. And then there's always the third parlay in there, ACEF, which is, I would also say that, I guess, might as well. ACEF, or what did I say? ACEF? Is that what I said? Yes. Fucking hell. Renat, Kaio, Bonfim, and ACEF. Other Bonfim. Two brothers in that one. And that's it. Don't know what the odds are going to be like, but I'm assuming probably not great. They're probably going to be like minus money for the triple play, I would assume. Because, I mean, if we just go through what some of these are, I mean, Renat minus 330. Mora is minus 500. Almeida minus 450. Gabriel Bonfim minus 550. Ismail minus 450. I mean, yeah, I really brought those odds down earlier with the prop bets. But yeah, that would be it for this card. And that would be it for this episode, this week, whatever. And then next week, holy shit, we've got Sergey Pavlovich. I almost said Spivak. Sergey Pavlovich and Hopefully they make weight. Fuck. Thankfully, Lewis has been losing weight anyway. So yeah, I don't think there's any. I mean, if we were getting who is that guy who almost missed weight? Tafa? I think Tafa almost missed weight. Man. Yeah, I think we're good with these two though. Almeida is shredded. Oh my god. I can't believe he makes light heavyweight. Can you believe that Almeida makes light heavyweight and he's probably about to suplex the shit out of Derek Lewis? That is unbelievable to me that people can cut weight like that. Anyway, Pavlovich, Aspinall next week. Cannot wait for that. I am stoked out of my mind for that. I like I said, I even said it. I said this months ago when they were fighting before. I actually thought that these two would be better than Stipe and Jones just because I think they're the new wave. I think they're going to be number 1, number 2 for probably quite a while, except for maybe throwing Jelton in there, like I said. So I cannot wait for this. Yeah, I'm stoked. And then the rest of the card is pretty good too. Ooh, I don't think I heard about that. Armin and Beneil. Ooh, I like that. And UFC Shanghai, I heard about that. I didn't hear anything about who was headlining that. I don't know if you heard anything about that. But that's great. I mean, UFC Shanghai, all the Chinese talent. I mean, maybe they'll do the road to UFC finals. Maybe that's when they're going to do that. I could see them doing that because the semifinals were a couple months ago, I think. When was that? Was that in July? Fuck. When was that? I really want to see the finals of that. It was actually a pretty good season of it too. So maybe that's what they'll do. But yeah, looking forward to that card too. I mean, really the rest of the year is pretty solid. We kind of just got to get through a couple of Apex cards here and there. That's pretty much it. But yeah, all the socials are down below. Be posting the posts as always this week. Maybe have the Brazilian Bank Buster. We'll see. I'll probably try and put 6 Brazilians that I think are going to win. Maybe Hooker versus Bobby Green is the co-main for the. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I thought that was its own main event. I really did. I thought Hooker Bobby Green was a main event. Interesting. Wow. I actually didn't know that. Wow. Well, you're informing me of some very cool things here. I like that. But yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time, and I will see you on Instagram later at some point. Probably today at midnight or 2 a.m. or something. See ya!